What's up, everybody? This is Morgan Flowerchild of Flowerchild Productions Incorporated, and you are watching Amplified Exposure Live with Teresa B. Let's get it.
Keep shining, let it shine like a diamond. Keep shining, let it shine like a diamond.
Good afternoon, Facebook. This is Teresa B coming to you live and direct from Amplified Exposure Live. Today I have my wonderful and lovely, and he's hilarious too, behind scenes, and hilarious friend, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. He came on today not because he's been acting since the 70s and I've watched all his shows and his movies, but he came on today because he likes me. How are you, Mr. Lawrence?
I'm cool in the gang, feeling cool, just chilling out, doing my thing, staying safe.
Staying safe. Amen. So I'm so glad to have you here with me today. This is truly a blessing. I am one of your biggest fans. Did I say biggest? Biggest.
You said biggest. I think it'd be a little bigger, but that's cool.
I have been watching you since the 70s. Let's just start from when you did Welcome Back Kotter. That was one of my favorite shows. I was addicted. I told you earlier, I probably watched every episode possible that was ever shown on television. And I had to be all of in the 6th grade. But I want to say that I read somewhere that it came out in 1975. Is that correct?
Well, the year of the show, we started the show in 1975. And it was I started Welcome Back Kotter. It was funny in those days when you did a movie or something, the movie stayed out forever. So I had done Claudine, then Cooley High happened, and then Welcome Back Kotter happened, and they were all out at the same time. But it was all in the between 74 and 75 and all that. No, I'll ignore my phone that you hear ringing out my pocket. That's not my pacemaker, I promise.
You're fine. You're fine. So
cool
when
deal.
did you start acting?
When I started, I was a kid. I was just turning 15 years old in 1969, and it was a management company called Roaming Management, which did nothing for me other than take my money to buy the pictures. And I begged my mother for a month to take me down to sign me up. But I started auditioning for non-union industrial films, whatever was out, short films, plays, and so forth, and just bumping my head up until I got out of high school. And I went to the High School of Art and Design in New York City. That was the big choice, to be a professional artist or be the actor. And I started studying at the Al Fan Theatrical Ensemble in Harlem, in the basement of a church, the St. Philip's Church, and it springboarded things from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So looking back, what was your very first check from acting?
You know something? For my first year and a half of my career, all I did was I was a background player, doing extra work, and happy to get it. And I even teased Fred Williamson is a friend of mine now, but I teased Fred about it. I said, Fred, you don't know this. When you did the movie Crazy Joe back in 73, I said, one day you had this long, skinny, lopsided Afro kid you're standing, and it was me. It was me. And they paid me $45, and I thought I was making some money. And so I did a lot of background on a lot of films, Serpico and all these different movies. And then I got a small role in the original Death Wish, and things stepped up, and Claudine happened on top of that.
Okay, good.
So yeah, so my first check, I would say, came from being an extra, being background.
Wow.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
$45?
$45, big bucks. 45.
So we need to let our audience know for a minute. We have a slight delay in our system, but we are going to make it do what it do. So if you kind of see delays of us having our conversation, something going on with StreamYard today. But Mr. Lawrence, he said he's going to work with it, and we're going to make it happen.
Ain't no drugs. We ain't on no crack pipe. We're not on the crack pipe. We're not on the drugs. Ain't no heroin in the arm. I ain't drinking because woe is me. Ain't none of that. Here's my drink. So.
Well, that's what you have to let them know, because you know how people spread rumors. They see these delays and they be thinking that we slow or something wrong, you know.
Yeah.
So we tell them up front that, hey, it's not us, it's the computer.
I mean, I can tell you something even to add to that on the real tip. I've never done a drug in my entire life, and I'm 67 years old. You know, if I smoked a marijuana joint, I never smoked a whole joint, but I puffed on one maybe 5 times in my life over years. I don't drink. That's it. I can just raise children and live, you know, and that's the choice. I'm not saying that I'm special, but I'm saying that that's my life. Until this day, some people don't believe it. How can you be an actor and you don't do this and that? I said, because I didn't do it. That's simple.
That's understandable.
It's the real.
Everything, sex, drugs, and rock and roll in Hollywood, right?
Oh, that's what they think. Yeah, but it's not always that. And I mean, I was around it a lot, of course, and still see it. And that's, you know, I'm not making any judgment. I'm just saying that's my life.
Right. So tell me about working with John Travolta.
John Travolta, I haven't met him yet. I want to meet him one day. I heard he's a nice guy, and I'd love to meet him one day. And no, I'm kidding, of course. John is my lifelong friend from Welcome Back Kotter, as Bobby Hedges and Ron Palillo also, who are passed on now, who played Epstein and Horshack. And but it's a funny thing. When we first did Welcome Back Kotter, John and I had the same agents at the time, the Phil Gersh Agency in Los Angeles, and they put us together to rehearse for the audition. So I went over to John's little apartment, this little squeeze-up apartment with no furniture, no food, and no TV, you know, and we were just trying to make it young, you know, 20-year-old, 21-year-old actors. And when we auditioned, they always had us in the same grouping. Whoever else they brought for the other parts, it was always John and I and John and I. And so we went through that a few times for a few callbacks. And 10 days later, I was back in New York City, and I just had an instinct to read the script and learn it. They called me that morning, I screen tested, and 2 days later, I was back in Los Angeles, and we're shooting the television pilot. We're working with John is great. John is probably one of the funniest men I've ever been around in my life. He's silly and off the wall, and you don't know that unless you know him personally. But we all had it like that. You know, Gabe was nuts, you know, and we just were like the inmates was running the asylum or something. We just had free reign. And on top of that, when we first were shooting on the Welcome Back Kotter show, our producers also produced Chico and the Man. So next door to us every day was Freddie Prinze. So Freddie Prinze would come over and be another cohort. And sometimes Jimmy Walker would come over when he was coming to do a talk show at the studio lot. So you had all these young guys with a couple of bucks and out of control. And it was just beyond fun and golden.
Tell me about working on the movie Cooley High.
Well, Cooley High is a godsend, you know, or a dream. You know, I mean, it came on the heels of doing Claudine. And that's the first time I met Glenn Turman, who's my great friend to this very day. And Cooley High is just a special coming-of-age movie. It kind of reminded me of my own life growing up in New York City, because some of the things we were doing in the movie, I did all that, you know, jumping the turnstiles in the subway and riding on the back of the bus and sneaking in this stuff and following just all little rules. What did we know at 17, 18, but we thought we knew it all. But we had each other. There was a natural sense of community in life, and that's what the guys in Cooley High had. We all were a part of each other, and we accented how we would make it. So when tragedy happened to one, which happened to be my guy, my character, it was the light or the fire to make Glenn's character say, this is a step I'm taking, just not for me, but all for the brothers who ain't here. So, you know, and it's also a true story. A lot of people don't know that, but Eric Monti, who wrote it, that's his life story. And the Glenn character is Eric, and I was the best friend.
Oh, okay. No. That's good.
Heavy stuff.
So a lot of people have watched the Jackson movie, and they are still angry at you to this day for being Joe Jackson. Please talk about that. I got emails about that yesterday. So,
You know something? That's probably the greatest role I've had so far in terms of a role with growth. Because I played him from 20. I was 38 when I did the movie, and I played him from 20 years old all the way up to when he was 54. So, you know, what I thought of, and my through line for me when the part became my part, was to think, I said, Joe can't be as people perceive him. They perceive him as being mean all the time and all of that. And I said, they took a lot of love to make all them 9 babies. And so there had to be some pacing in that. So whatever scenes I would be in with the kids over the years, I would write why I love them. So I remember that as a through line and play that and got Ticed. A couple of the people out of the movie there, Angel Vargas, who played Tito as an adult, and Alex Barallo played Little Michael, still think they're my kids to this day. And they're men with their own kids. And the relationship is great. Or Jermaine Jr. is my dude, you know, to this day, who played his own father. But the experience was fantastic. You know, and we work with all those wonderful people. Of course, Angela Bassett and my other partner in crime for humor was Vanessa Williams. Every day she would come over and try to nudge me to tell some bad jokes so she could laugh. So she had a little wicked sense of humor, and just great people. And what a nice experience and a wonderful thing to be able to play that legacy of a family that's music royalty. I knew them personally, so I never knew I would wind up playing their dad of all things, and It's just very, very, it's imperial. It really is top shelf. And it makes me laugh sometimes when I see people react, man, you were so mean, or you were this and that. And that was part of the part. Well, you see me around kids. I'm the biggest sap that ever lived. You know, if my granddaughter looks at me a certain way, I'm like, oh, baby, what you need? You know, and getting it for her. So it was fun. It's a great, great, great experience. A great piece of history. Good stuff.
So you had to actually get some information from Joe Jackson when you were producing this film?
No, you know, no, it didn't happen. No, I mean, I knew Joe for many, many years as I knew the family. You don't know the depths of a person, but the material starts with the script. So you read the script and you see what the script is trying to achieve. Then I use my sensibilities based on how I react to it. And I thought it through because I thought of my father, Hilton Jacobs, who I'm named after. And, you know, he was tough and he wore those big hats and he looked like he was 8 feet tall to me when I was a kid. You know, I didn't know he was only 5'10", but to me, he looked like he was forever. And, you know, it's really, to me, the essence to playing a real person is to play the truth of what they're trying to say. And then you base it on your sensibilities, which is where method acting comes from. And then and you have to be honest. And then it comes and it'll flow through. Because I tried to get together with Joe and he wouldn't do it, you know, and it didn't happen. Then during the movie, he was my best friend up until when he passed away. You know, I talked to him recently before he passed away and he was still cool. You know, I called him in Vegas and he was like, he has a very high voice. And he's like, yeah, Larry, you know, that was nice for you to call me. That's real good. You know, so that was us. And, you know, I love those guys. I love the family and that's nice too. But the experience and all those wonderful actors that I work with all the way down the line and the 36 people that played my children, all fantastic. Fantastic.
Wow. 36 people that the role of my children.
They played the Jacksons over the years. Yeah. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So did you get any time in with Michael? Is he as shy as people?
When I knew No, you know, Michael is not so much shy. He really isn't. Shy when you put him on the spot in a public arena or something like that, if he's in the public eye. Behind the scenes, Michael was chilled out. I mean, he was a little bit reserved sometimes. And when I've been around him, he had a little bit of thug in him. People don't know that part. Michael definitely is from Gary, Indiana, because I saw him sometimes taking my assistant, like, come here, people around and all that. And that, you know, high voice gets a little bit more down here. I've seen him unshaven. But during the movie, we just didn't have the time. You know, I had one day off, and Michael at the time was rehearsing, I think, to do the This Is It tour. And I wanted to go over and see him, but it was just no time because I had so much to learn, and it just didn't work out. And so the only time I got to see Michael again is when, unfortunately, Michael Peters, our choreographer from the movie, who also choreographed the Beat It video, had a funeral. And then I saw Michael there, you know, a while later, and, you know, we said, hey. You know, but Michael and I have always been cool over the years. You know, there's so many archival photos of us at some nightclub or some wherever show they had us at. And when I see these photos sometimes, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I was there with Mike, or Mike was with me. And we've always been just very quietly respectful towards each other, as all the guys are. till this day. When their father passed, and I went to the memorial, and I had not seen Marlon in a while, but when I saw him, it was like seeing my cousin, because he just came up and was like, "Yo, man, what's up, Larry?" And that's just us. That's how we're just cool with each other, and straight up.
Yeah. So I have to tell the audience now that you explained all of that you are not mean like the character, that it was just a character.
I mean, everybody's got their sides to them, but no, I mean, no. You live life. If you're raising children, and many of us all got that experience, there's always going to be a dynamic roller coaster of how you take care of these kids and learn to take care of them. And some days you just know, when the kid is crying and they're crying because they need your attention, or they're crying because they want something. You just know, or you'll hear it. These are developed things. You'll be in a room where there's noise in another room, and you just go, the baby needs me. And the baby does, and you go. And so that's life, but it can't be one rhythm all the time. It has to be a combination of a variable of feelings to be able to get along. That's how people have to even do in the world. For us to get along, we have to find this flavor and this avenue and this idea and this opinion and that judgment. And then we have to mix it together so it makes sense for us on how we can communicate. So we can either tell them thank you or go take a walk, whatever. And live with that and not feel like, oh my God, I'm guilty, I said that. No, I'm a tough guy. I always have been. I'm not saying that as a vibrato, but I'm saying it as the truth. I just ain't about the BS, and I'm just not about taking somebody's nonsense. And but I like to give it up straight as I'd like it to come to me. I'd rather, like I say, the key, even to being an actor to me, is to be honest. It starts from that truth, and from there, if you let it, be clean and linear, then you can springboard into many things. So that's life to me. And getting along with anybody, that's raising children, and that's getting along with your husband or your girlfriend or your kids or your cousins or your coworkers or the guy down at the store that doesn't like it because he thinks you're cuter than he. We have to find ways of finesse. That's life.
Right. So tell me how it was acting in the 70s. Did you face a lot of racism? Were there barriers, a lot more barriers as far as getting acting roles, or did it really just take you for your talent?
Something, that's a hard one to sometimes put into a simple answer. Racism has always been around, and it certainly is not going to leave in our lifetime, unless we want to pretend it. And so that does bleed over into the show business arena. And people sometimes get nervous with you because it had nothing to do with you. Just you. I remember once I had a meeting set up by one of the presidents at Warner Brothers, just coming back from New York. He happens to be sitting next to me on the plane. He's a good guy, Peter Roth. And he set up a meeting with me with all his executive casting people at Warner Brothers. And when I went to meet them, and I think the time when I met them, I forget how old I was, but I was probably like 40 or something like that, or, 42. But I was into the gym and all that. And when I went in and I met with all these casting people, I saw most of them looking at me like, oh my God, look how he looks. And we thought he was gonna be wrinkly or, which ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But that's what they were tripping on. What are you gonna do about that? You can't do anything about that. And I'm not tripping on that. I think I'm all that. But that's the world, So again, I take it back to just be truthful to your truth. And that'll help you to get through many avenues. But during those times in the 70s, luckily I was able to work a lot, and nice opportunities came along, and I was able to have some diversity in the opportunities. I didn't just play the same guy, or the same type. Even and this is no detriment to my wonderful king person I look up to, Sidney Poitier, but I turned down his movie. Which one was it? Was A Piece of the Action, because I didn't want to play another high school kid. I was doing it on Welcome Back Kotter at the time, and I felt like it was the same thing. And my friend Ernest Thomas wound up playing the part, and so forth. But we just keep it moving, and whatever you do or decide to take on as a commitment, live with it, good or bad. That was your choice. You don't have to beat yourself up later and say, "Okay, I shoulda, woulda." That's nonsense. And hypotheticals that's just dreams. So, nah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we didn't go over. Tell me about the experience of playing in Roots.
Playing in Roots, was fantastic, because I was it was a shot in the arm. I was doing Welcome Back Kotter, and we're in the middle of its heat of Welcome Back Kotter, but I wanted to do something else besides just boom boom. I don't want to go boom boom all day. And so the Roots came along, which happened to be the same producer, David Wolper, and it gave me a grand opportunity. Even when I wanted to learn the world, I went on the set earlier and I watched John Amos and Lou Gossett work just to get a feeling of it at the ranch where we were working at out in Hollywood. And it was a nice challenge and something to do different. I was 23 at the time when I did the movie. And Roots was just golden. I mean, it was a first class, A+ class plus tax production. And he had all this insane, wonderful talent, really showing off other chops other than they were on a sitcom or you knew them for this or that. You got to see them be diverse. Everybody from Vic Morrow down to Ed Asner, even O.J. Simpson, and so forth in the movie. And of course, Cecily Tyson and Thamas Rasulala and all these great, great people, Raymond St. Jacques and George Stafford Brown and Ben Vereen and Olivia Cole and Lynn Moody. And I mean, it just went down the line of all these wonderful, of course, LeVar Burton, it was just golden, absolutely golden.
Yeah, for those of you that are just now tuning in, I'm with Hilton Jacobs. He is best known for Welcome Back Kotter, for being on Martin, for playing as Joe Jackson, and for you were on the Wayans Brothers show and Street Blues and
Daniel Wayans.
Yeah. How was it working with that family?
Again, working with the Wayans was just working with my cousins because I knew them for years. I knew him, Keenan and all the other ones, even the sisters Erica and their brother Larry, rest in peace and all that. I known the family, so we were friends. And so when it came along where Sean just called me out of nowhere, on a Sunday and said, man, we'd like you to do the show, man. We got a part you can play. And I said, when? He said, tomorrow. Okay. So they sent me a script and I learned it and I went in and 2 days later we're shooting it. And luckily at that time I had grown a beard. So it just worked out for me playing a homeless guy. But a lot of fun, and Marlon and Sean are just loose and fun. And as all the family is, a lot of respect.
Nice. So who were some of your favorite actors to work with?
For me, there's my heroes as far as actors that definitely were inspiration to me. The top of the list is Sidney Poitier. I saw Sidney Poitier in a movie when I was a kid called Edge of the City, and he played a railroad worker with John Cassavetes. And he had this scene where he was talking about Jack Warden's character, but he was talking to John Cassavetes to say, don't follow this guy. He said, this guy with his Sidney way. He said, man, that guy is nothing. But the way he did it, it resonated with me. And I think I was 7 years old then, or 8, and it locked me. And it made me say, oh, wow, that's cool. I would like to do that. So certainly Sidney, Marlon Brando, Paul Newman, these are my heroes as actors. Actresses, of course, Betty Davis and Faye Dunaway, somebody who I admire highly. Jane Fonda is just beyond brilliant. I can go down. Who am I think? I'm forgetting right now, but just there's many, that were air points for me. But and when I was coming up in my time as a young guy, then the new warriors were coming along, which was the Robert De Niro's and the Al Pacinos and the Harvey Keitels. And so I got to even be around them. I was even an extra on Serpico with Pacino. Yay, $35. So there you go.
Well, I'm glad you got past the $35 and the $45 jobs. That was a lot of them going on.
You're glad. Something, I mean, just to add to it, I'm going to cut you off, but I'm just saying, whatever money you make, in its time, that's relative. When we did Claudine, we made $483 a week, but I had never made that much money a week in my life back in 1973. So to me, you might as well say it was $4,000 a week, and the opportunity overrode the price, and it made for a big bounce for a career for me. So we always want to negotiate a good price for you. We got to live. The cost of living changes. You got to support your world. But once you make the deal, it's about the work, and it's not about, well, they could have paid me $10 more. Well, you got good reviews, you know, and you got another job, and you even got a couple of awards out of it that can make you feel good when you feel bad. So that's my take on it.
Okay.
But the money's got to be right.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna let them just get away with it.
Yeah, it's about those coins. Saying
You got to get them pennies, man. Hey, I'm with it.
So out of
All the
all
way.
the roles that you have accomplished and achieved throughout the years, which role was your favorite to, or which, like, I'm looking at Joe Jackson. I'm like,
You know something? I do it this way. For me, when I think about it, or if I'm asked that, I said, you know, Claudine was important because it was my first major role, and I feel like Claudine, the guy who played the Claudine Charles, was me practicing Joe Jackson as a kid. He grew up to be Joe Jackson years later. You know, Cooley High was insane fun. You know, Welcome Back Kotter was off the chain, you know, fun for me and things like this. So, you know, each experience, you know, right now I'm doing a streaming series called A House Divided. And I'm playing a father who comes from a very, very rich family, but they got a lot of problems. They got a lot of drama, a lot of, you know, double crosses and all this kind of stuff is going on. And it's an interesting thing to play because I'm not playing the tough guy so much. I'm playing the guy who's kind of taking it and reacting and trying to figure out how to do it, because that is not me. That ain't Larry at all. But it's fun to play. You know, I mean, we were watching some episodes back when the first season, I was sitting watching it with my lady, and she almost got angry. She says, God, why are you being such a wimp? I said, well, that's the part. So that's who I'm playing. You know, it's fun to be able to venture out certain ways. And that is a test of one's own security with himself. And again, going back to the honesty of yourself. So that's my approach.
okay. Now, for those of you that are out in the looking in the background, he has every picture of pretty much all the work he has done. 1973, right?
Oh, you're in my office. Yeah, no, this is my office, and I figured I put everything in one room, so you can see Cooley High's back here. I don't know what's over there. You can't see it too well, but there's a picture of Glenn and I. That's just there's some Cooley High pictures up there, but there's a picture of Glenn and I where we were just being ourselves, and it's a wonderful picture. And he sent me that picture because he had a copy and I never did. And then he went and got it together. I remember his wife was saying, and he was so particular about it, and he got it wrapped up. And so that's my great friend. And yeah, you know, your accomplishments, I'm proud of them, of course. And you got to keep moving. You know, I don't sit around gloating. I don't sit around looking at my own movies. I haven't seen them in a long time. But, you know, yeah, let me look at Cooley High tonight, you know.
So are you still taking roles? Are you still, like, if someone came to you with an amazing script, would you say, hey, I would love to do that?
Of course. Absolutely. I mean, I'm doing a series right now called A House Divided. In the last year, I did a movie called Shooting Heroin, The Perfect Mate, Death Block on, was it Death Block? I forget the name of the movie now. Death Block on Row 13. I've done 4 or 5 independent films. And of course, I'm a writer and a director as well. So I mix it up with that. And I mean, I'm never going to stop being an actor. That's number one. And that's what it's all about. And everything, you know, comes out of that springboard or out of that foundation. But yeah, you know, I'm always loving a challenging role. I don't have a particular role because I played so many over the years. So I've been lucky with that or blessed with that. But anything that would be a little bit to the left, sometimes the challenge in having to come up with a different voice, because, you know, I've played them sometimes talking like this, or other times I turn around West Indian, or sometimes I had to be a little Spanish with it, you know, sometimes. But, you know, I've been able to mess around with all those things and get away with it. So it's fun. It's just a lot of fun. All actors are schizoid, and I'm one of them. Right. So there you go.
Right. So no retirement for you.
Oh, no. There's never no quitting. There's no retirement. You just keep recreating yourself, and you add to it and stuff like that. You know, I can't get into it because it's new, but I just wrote a script about a very controversial man that we all know, a Black man, and that we want to make into a movie, and I will direct it. And I just keep going. You know, I write and I direct and I act when there is, you know, something to act in, or, you know, something comes my way. And so there is no ending. You know, I'm also a musician, which I've been playing piano way too long. And I involve that. So I've been on many records of my own or other people, TV or movie soundtracks. Sometimes I'll do the soundtracks to things that I direct for two reasons, because I know what it feels like and I can pay me less and not be mad at it because I'm doing it for my own project. So, there's no end. There's no retirement. No, I'll retire, when they setting the candles up for me. That's when. That'll be my time.
So do you have any children that will be carrying on the torch?
So I have two stepdaughters that I've raised, and that's given me 4 grandchildren who I love beyond love. And I wonder about it. I took my young granddaughter on a set with me. She's going to be 11 now, but I took on a set when she was 4 or 5, and I saw the bug in her eye, and I was like, oh, God, I'm creating another monster here, I figured that people say it all the time because they're pretty kids and all that. Put them in the movies. I'm like, let them be children. And when they get to be like 14 or 15, if they sweat me about it, then of course I'm going to help them and encourage all the way. But no, it's not about carrying on the torch. It's everybody's got their life. Everybody's got their journey, and so where the path take you, that's where you go. As you know, you have children, you want to hear how your children feel and what's interesting to them, or what heightens their interest to get smarter or more forward in their growth. And we want to set it up so they can feel confident, and okay to go do that, and not say it has to be done because mom or dad said it, or look who your dad or mom is, you have to live up to that. Like I would never name a son, Hilton Jacobs, which I got the name, but I wouldn't put this son because I want the kid to go have their own identity. I don't want Lawrence Hilton Jacobs to the second. What do I need that for? Outside of ego, no, we have to keep going. So for me, it's forever, and I love it, and I'm still hyped up on it like a kid sometimes at my age, and I see the wonders, and I still see so many things I want to do with many actors that I respect and I like, that I want to work with them as a director and pull all those wonderful flavors out of them and all that magic and make it come off, and then when we finish that, we'll go do another one. And go have lunch in between and talk, play the dozen, talk about each other's, uncle or something. So there you go.
So if you could give someone advice that is just now breaking into the acting profession, what would you tell them to do that you might have done differently?
I don't think I don't see so much what I would have done differently, but I do say this, it's a tough game. Understand that. It's like anything else. You have to take it on. It has to become bonding truth to you, almost like a gospel, almost like something is necessary is turning on a faucet and water's going to come out. It's got to become that special and that subtle to yourself. And what you have to base yourself on or learn to depend on is your raw nerve, because there's going to be a lot of times where you're just going to be clueless, or you're going to feel like, am I wasting my time and so forth, or I'm not working, or can't get good enough work, or, I got to pay my rent. What am I going to do? Those are tough decisions. But I'm not telling anyone to say, get everything else and just be an actor. But, it's a tough commitment. And so that is what you have to instill in yourself first, then go get it. Take nobody's BS. And we know our own limitations. We know where we are not up to speed, when we're full of it. We know this. So acknowledge that to yourself, and don't, and sour grapes and all that. And I didn't get the part because so-and-so was a better actor. Oh, that's nonsense. You can only go with what you got. And believe in that, and your time will come. Almost that you can dictate your time will come, because you force the change by doing. But it's a tough game because you're not out there alone. And a lot of people don't have to care, or they seem like they don't. It takes time to learn just the variables of the game on a day-to-day basis. How do you get along with people in attitudes, or socially, or when they don't like me as an actor, do they just like me as a person? All that baloney we had to go through as young actors. You have to get it in there, get past it. So let me break it down. Later for all that shh, man, just do your thing and keep going. Period.
Period. That's what I'm talking about. Period.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a question from the audience. Miss Flo Seamsons, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I always just call her Flo. She comes on to all my shows and asks questions. But she asked, who would you like to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Wow. 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 Who, something who I'd like to, and I ran into him recently. I'll tell you, he's an old friend, and, and we were, been through the storms and all that together as actors. And, I'm going to tell you who it was in a minute. And when I saw him after not seeing him in 20 years, it was like my long lost brother. And we both were hugging, and he was even holding my hand a little too long. I was wondering, but we got real cool. But that was Denzel Washington. Who was a good friend to this day. And I would love to work with Denzel toe to toe, because I think we would make each other better. And we truly love and like each other. It's very sincere. So that would be nice, and just to work with brother Denzel. And I admire Viola Davis also. I just think that sister is beyond great. And she's a great actress. But when I've seen her on talk shows and I hear her talk, I said, that's the real deal. I like that. She ain't trying to, this is it. So of those modern people, yes, I would love to. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Lawrence, I would love to work with Denzel too. So even though I'm not an actor, I would like a small background role or something. I'm just saying.
Well, I can tell you this without being jived. When that wonderful time happens, I won't forget, and we'll have you there. I do that with my movies when I'm directing and stuff like that. And I have certain friends or family members. It's always dangerous when you come to visit my set, because when you come, you're going to work. My best friend who I grew up with, his name is Douglas Taylor, rest in peace. When he was doing the Jacksons, his lady was the stand-in for Angela Bassett. And so he came on to visit her one day, and he was on the side, just talking with me. And I said, guess what? He said, what? I said, you're about to be in this airplane seat. He says, I am. I said, yeah. And then we sent over the costumes, got him in the clothes. And so there's a shot on the plane with the Jackson where you see me sitting down there looking stoic, and Vanessa Williams comes over to talk to me. And if you look right behind me, there's my friend T with a striped suit on. So, we can do things like that when that time comes. And I won't forget my darling Teresa, Atlanta sister. So there you go.
Don't make me cry. Don't make me cry live. Don't make me cry, because I'll be there. I will be there. Okay.
Cool.
With bells and whistles.
Hey. Yeah, and you get a check too, so it's cool too. Yeah.
Get a check. That's even better. Yes. Let me know when that. Yes, the organ has to come in on that one. I might cut a step. I don't know. Woo. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you so much for coming out today. This has been a blessing to my soul, and I have over the years. So I so love seeing your face and talking to you. Never thought this moment would come for me, but I truly am blessed to have met you today.
Thank you. Let me just say this to you. Thank you very much, for having me, and I mean that sincerely. And I always say this, especially to the brothers and sisters, we just got to keep each other going. So it's all gravy. It's all good.
So tell the audience if they want it, because you have your own company where you do directing and screenwriting. Is that correct?
Well, I'm a person. You talking about my representation is what you're asking for?
Well, yeah.
My address. No, I have managers. They're called the Turtons, and it's called Turton Entertainment. They're out of Brooklyn, New York. Tracy and Kevin Turton. You can easily find them, and that's how we move forward. You run it through them, and they run it through me, and then we go through it. Or go through it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm bringing my book to you, all of them.
Come on.
Okay.
All right.
Well, can you tell the audience how to reach you on social media if they wanted to just say hello?
I'm on it. I'm definitely on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, although I don't know how to work it that well, but I'm there. So you can follow on Instagram. What's the other one? Snapchat or something like that? Or my managers put a whole website on me together that when I saw it, I saw these pictures on. I was like, Jesus Christ, they went left, But that's you can find me. I'm not hard to find on any search. You just put Lawrence Hilton Jacobson, and you'd be sick of me. There'd be so much stuff coming up, stuff I didn't know. So there you go.
Yeah. Twitter. Are you on LinkedIn?
No, I'm not that. I'm just Instagram and Facebook that I know of, and the other one, which I'm forgetting what the hell it's called, is probably that. I'll have to, you see how much I'm paying attention to it, but
Well, there you have it, folks. Mr. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs.
Real.
He has come on today to bless my show. Thank you so much for coming. I can't wait to meet you in person. Stay safe out there with this COVID life.
Absolutely.
And be blessed. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you very much too, man. Thank everybody too for tuning in with us. Right on.
All right. See you later.
Okay, then. You guys be cool. Okay. Bye-bye.